All right, folks. Welcome to Anatomy and Physiology. I just wanted to start out by making a quick little presentation just on what I view as my tips for success. Basically, some advice and hopefully some wisdom to get through this class and to just have a better overall knowledge of the workings of the human body. Okay, so basically, as a wise man once said, let's get her done and get going. Okay, so again, welcome. Welcome aboard. This class is designed for people who have been out of school for a while. Who have graduated high school and have been out working for a while and are deciding to come back to school, or maybe are out of work and want to try to make a better life for themselves. So and that's a big trend you're seeing in society right now. A lot of people going to school, especially a lot of people want to go into allied health because they know that is there are a lot of jobs in the area. Okay, and or for the most part, you know most of my students that I typically have in this class have little or no biology or chemistry background. Not saying you don't know anything about biology, it's just been a long time since you've taken a biology class. The last time some of you may have had a class where you talked about some form of in-depth biology, may have been high school. You may have gone to college and have been out working for a while and you only had to take one biology class and now you're coming back and you're going more in depth again. Okay, so same thing with chemistry. I mean, I personally am not a huge fan of chemistry. That doesn't mean it's not important to know, but if you haven't taken a class like that, or some people may have never taken it before, this may seem a little intimidating at first, but I just want to encourage you folks that this class is not impossible by any means. And this class won't be impossible if you follow my few tips for success. And I put these. This first one I believe is the most important one out of all of these. Be positive. Okay, approach this with a positive attitude. Approach this knowing that you want to basically you're trying to make a better life for yourself and become a professional in a specific area. All right. Excuse me, a positive attitude, chances are going to breed positive results, and a negative attitude, will breed negative results, plain and simple. Okay. And, there are going to be times in this class when it's going to be tough. Okay. There are going to be times when, some of this material is going to come to you very easily, and there's some material that's going to be just a little harder to grab, and that's like with any subject out there. For me, when I was taking this, I struggled with the respiratory system. For some reason, that system just did not click with me like the others, and I had to work twice as hard to make that system understandable to me. Whereas the endocrine system, that one, I don't know, for some reason, that one's always made sense to me, and it still does to this day. Of course, it should if I'm teaching this class, but and it's just going to happen. And another part of having that positive attitude reminds me of the saying that a Tanzanian marathoner once said, and who goes by the name of Jumani Kanga. And he once said, while preparing for the New York Marathon, I apologize, I can't remember the date he won it, but he was being interviewed after the race, and they asked him, so how was your training for this race? And he said he ran on average 100 miles per week to prepare to win that race. And then after Juman said that, he said the will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. And I was in high school when I heard that, and that hit me. That did hit me, because that's also part of having a positive attitude, is understanding that you're not going to get the desired results. You're not going to win. You're not going to get to the end without preparing. Okay. And that goes with academics and not just sports as well. Okay. If you want to get it, getting a good grade is one thing, but having the right proper knowledge to, I'm not content with you guys being good at what you do. I want you guys to be the best at what you do. Okay. But you're not going to get there if you don't work hard and strive strive for those results, because a positive attitude is a big tool to have, but a positive attitude is not enough. You have to have the work ethic to drive you to get to where you need to be. Okay, so keep that in mind. The will to win means nothing without the will to prepare. Okay, and that kind of goes into this, be diligent and stay on task. Okay, on a week-by-week basis, you'll have some assignments to do. You'll have to take some tests. Stay on top of those. Okay, stay on top of those. Do not lose points for turning things in late. It drives me nuts when people, especially when I see students who are very good students who just don't manage their time very well and just turn in work late. Don't squander your grade just because you're not staying on task. Okay, stay on top of your readings, and just do what you got to do to get to where you have to be. Okay, and Occam's razor is something you hear. And you hear this a lot in medicine. Basically, the simplest explanation is usually the answer. Okay, and I bring this concept up because going into a class like this is going to be a course where you guys are going to get a lot of information, and hopefully this information is interesting to you, and I know it will be. Okay, and it's going to be interesting, in part because you guys are probably have been through an illness or a disease, or you've known somebody that's been through something, and when you get into a specific organ system and your wheels start to turn as you learn about how the system works, and then you're trying to connect the dots with the disease, I've just seen people make the mistake of thinking a little too elaborately. Okay, think outside. Don't get me wrong. Think outside the box. Be creative. Just don't get too creative. Okay, don't try to connect dots that aren't meant to be connected. Okay, and that's what I'm here for, is I'll make sure that you guys are on the right track with that. But like I said, it's just a mistake that I see a lot of people make. Okay, and this information is what it is. I mean, that's the beauty of science, where there is a lot of reviewed literature and facts. Is take it for what it is. Okay, don't think more than you have to. All right, plain and simple. All right. Another thing, just approach this topic, like anything in academics, with an open mind. Okay. Be prepared to think outside the box. Be prepared to get creative. Like I said, just don't get too creative, and just be ready to learn and look at all different views of of this topics. Okay. And this is a big one. This next bullet point here. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay, do not be afraid to ask questions. Chances are, if you have a question, probably the majority of the class has the exact same question. Maybe not the exact same words, but the same question about the same topic. Okay, be that person that asks the question. Okay, because I see this all. I mean, I was a student once, and I saw this a lot. It took me a while to grow out of this. Is some people feel embarrassed to ask questions because they don't they think their professor is going to think they're dumb, or their classmates are going to think they're dumb, or that they're too needy or high maintenance. Don't think like that. Okay, this is a place of learning. All right, and part of learning is, if you understood everything, you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't need to go to school. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you guys this stuff, and part of the learning process is asking questions. Okay, if you don't understand something and you've done your research, okay, ask away. Okay, because you're not only going to be helping yourself, chances are you're going to be helping the bulk of the class as well. All right. And, something to keep in mind, outside of class, if you have a question you need to ask, okay, don't just start studying a topic, and if it doesn't make sense, don't automatically get into the mindset of, I should just ask him what this means, or ask a question, okay, because I won't give you the answer you want to hear, all right? Even if you have done your research, I'll point you in the direction, but part of being a student is it's not just taking in information, there's a character building aspect to academia as well, and that comes from hard work, from having a positive attitude, from putting in your time. Okay, and if I see that you're kind of going through questions or material and you didn't put any effort into researching anything to try to come up with answers, or you're not showing me that you're really thinking about the topic, I'm sorry, I'm going to send you away and tell you to go research, okay? Because this isn't a grocery store where you just grab a product off the shelf and ask a question about it and I give you an answer. This isn't customer service. This is academics, okay? Make sure you do your work, okay? Plain and simple. And I guess one thing to keep in mind is, what's going to be cool about this is that as I was going through, as I was kind of thinking about this presentation, I was trying to look for some images and some clip art through Microsoft Word, and I found this image, okay? And this is, a part of learning this material that I think is really cool, that personally made me feel cool, and that, that I've seen past students walk away, is that you're going to be able to look at a picture like this. Right now, this probably looks really foreign to you guys, understandably. I mean, unless you've worked around the heart and the EKG a lot, I mean, you're not going to know a lot about this. Okay, but by the time you're done with anatomy and physiology, you'll be able to look at this. You'll be able to look at this picture and say, "Wow, there's the apex of the heart. Oh, what do you know? There's the ascending aorta. There's the arch of the aorta. There's a descending aorta. There's a pulmonary trunk. Left pulmonary artery, right pulmonary artery. What do you know? Here are two pulmonary veins going in, emptying into the left atrium. Here's the left ventricle. Here's the right ventricle. This is about where the right atrium would be. Here's about where the left atrium would be. Oh, look, here's an EKG. Well, you've got a P wave. You should not be two Q waves here, but then you got a QRS complex. Then you've got a crazy looking T wave here, and then you start the whole, sinus rhythm all over again. Okay, and I know that all sounded like a bunch of jargon to you guys, but but the point I want to make is that when you're done with A&P, you're going to be talking like this, and that's awesome. Okay, when you guys have the knowledge of the concepts and the terminology that go with these applied topics like this, okay, you'll be able to have a good, cool conversation. There's nothing more rewarding to me when a student, tells me that, they were talking to a doctor at work and they not only understood, they were actually in the conversation, not just keeping up, they were actually in the conversation, using the medical terms and the lingo. And to me, that is extremely rewarding. And you guys are going to be doing that. But like I said, you need to follow my tips for success. You need to work hard. And bear in mind that in a foundational class like this and a medical terminology that I teach, a lot of you probably had me for that prior to this class, remember that the habits you develop in these foundational classes like this, before you actually get into your nursing programs and your other programs, the habits you develop now are the habits you're going to take with you. Make sure you develop the right habits. If you're going to have a poor, negative attitude, if you're going to try to fly off the seat of your pants and try to skim by, you're not going to make it, okay? And if you do make it, you're going to be squandering your potential, and you're not going to be as good as you potentially can be, okay? And I hate that when I see people, just waste potential because they just want to meet the bare minimum and be lazy and try to get by. Don't do that. Work hard. Think ahead. Yes, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, school is a struggle, because, there's a lot thrown at you. It's a big responsibility. But if you look at the big picture and understand that when all's said and done, okay, you're going to be a better person. You're going to have a better job. Okay, that's what you did all this for. And the habits you build, the work ethic you develop in these classes are things that you're going to take with you, not just into your upper level classes, but take with you out of school into your job, and you're going to use for the rest of your life. So don't waste your time now. Do it right, okay? And that's what I'm here. If you guys need anything, if you ever have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask. On my syllabus, my contact information is on there. Again, I strongly encourage, I'm here for you guys if you need me. And, good luck, and I wish you all the best in my class. And to those of you who are not in my class and are watching this on my YouTube channel, again, I wish you the best of luck as well. And I encourage that you folks, if you have questions, contact me as well. Because, I'm into teaching because I like educating people and I like watching people learn. So again, best of luck to you all, and get her done. Go get them.